You stand on a narrow wooden bridge in the cold September air. Behind you, your army lies broken, cut down by English steel. Before you, an entire Saxon host charges forward, thousands of men, shields raised, blades gleaming. And you? You are one Viking. One man with an axe, a heartbeat, and a choice. Stand or run. You grip your weapon tighter. The bridge groans under your boots. The enemy roars, and history is about to remember you. This isn't a Marvel movie. There are no slow-motion hero shots, no epic soundtrack. This is the year 1066, the Battle of Stamford Bridge. And what happened here is far bloodier, far more brutal than any screenwriter could invent. The story begins days earlier. Harald Hardrada, the thunder-voiced king of Norway, has crossed the North Sea with thousands of Vikings. He dreams of the English crown. With him marches Tostig, the exiled brother of England's King Harold Godwinson, eager to tear his homeland apart. At first, things go well. The Vikings crush a local army at Fulford. York surrenders. The Norsemen believe victory is theirs. They celebrate, relax, and leave half their force and their armor back at the ships. Why carry iron in the blazing September sun when the English king is still miles away? But that was their first mistake. Because Harold Godwinson, moving faster than anyone thought possible, marches his army 200 miles in just 4 days. No medieval Uber, no supply trucks, just blistered feet and iron determination. And suddenly, the Saxons are here, bearing down on Stamford Bridge like a tidal wave of steel. The Vikings are caught half-dressed, scattered, unarmored. Chaos erupts. Men scramble for weapons. Some flee, some die. And the Saxons drive them back until only the narrow wooden bridge holds them apart. And this is where the legend begins. One Viking warrior steps forward. His name, lost to history. His face, unknown. But his deeds, etched forever. He plants his boots in the middle of the bridge, hefts a giant two-handed axe, and stares down an army. The Saxons rush forward thinking they'll smash him aside like a fly. Instead, he carves them open one by one. Picture it. A narrow choke point, wide enough for only 1 or 2 men to cross at a time. The Viking swings in great arcs, the axe biting through helmets, splitting shields, snapping bones. Each strike sends another warrior tumbling into the river below, blood spilling into the water. The Saxons press forward, screaming. He answers with silence and steel. You think your gym routine makes you strong? Deadlifts and squats? Catastrophically wrong. This man has rowed long ships across oceans, swung an axe since childhood, eaten pain like breakfast. Every muscle in his body is forged for this moment. You wouldn't last a heartbeat against him. For nearly an hour, he holds the bridge. Dozens of Saxons fall. The English army, thousands strong, is stalled by one man. Imagine the humiliation. Imagine the terror of charging again and again, only to be cut down like wheat before the scythe. But this isn't Hollywood. Heroes don't always die gloriously, they die brutally. Eventually, the Saxons realize brute force won't work. So one clever soldier crawls beneath the bridge, hidden by the beams and the river's shadow. He jabs upward with a spear. The Viking roars in pain. Blood splashes the planks, his knees buckle. And finally, after holding an army at bay, the giant falls. His body slams against the bridge. The Saxons surge forward. The last line of Viking resistance is broken, but ask yourself, what does it mean to stand like that? To fight when every instinct tells you to run? Was it madness, duty, or just the sheer stubborn pride of a Norseman who refused to bow? Historians still debate the details. Did he kill 40 men? 70? More? The chronicles disagree. But what's undeniable is this. One nameless Viking bought his comrades precious minutes, enough for some to regroup, enough for the world to remember. And though the battle ended in English victory, Harold Hardrada slain, Tostig cut down, the legend of the bridge bearer still endures. So the next time you feel brave, ask yourself, could you plant your feet against impossible odds and hold the line? Could you face death alone, knowing the world will forget your name, but remember your stand? The man at Stamford Bridge did, and history still whispers his story. The Saxons pour across the bridge. Their boots thunder on the planks where the Vikings' blood still glistens. Behind them, the full English host advances. Thousands of spears, shields, and banners flooding the horizon. The air smells of sweat, iron, and fear. The Vikings on the far bank scramble into formation. They've had precious minutes to arm themselves, to drag on helmets, to form a shield wall, but half of them are still half-dressed, stripped for what was supposed to be a lazy day of negotiation. Imagine trying to fight in nothing but a tunic, your armor sitting neatly on a ship 2 miles downstream. That was their reality. The Saxons crash into them, shield on shield, and the field erupts into chaos. The clash is nothing like the choreographed duels you've seen in movies. It's pure madness. Mud, blood, splintered wood, men screaming as they're dragged into the earth. Harold Hardrada, the giant king of Norway, stands tall among his warriors. He's 6'7", towering above the melee, his voice booming like a war horn. For a moment, it seems as if the Norse fury might hold. Hardrada swings his massive two-handed sword, carving a path through the English line. His presence is terrifying, like a force of nature made flesh. But fate is cruel. An arrow whistles through the air and slams into Hardrada's throat. He staggers, blood gushing, choking on his last breath. The thunder voice falls silent. The Viking army wavers. Tostig, Harold Godwinson's own brother, rallies what men remain. He refuses to flee, shouting defiantly against his kin. But he too is cut down in the storm of steel. Now, with both leaders gone, the Viking shield wall crumbles. The slaughter that follows is merciless. Men drown in the river, trampled or cut apart as they try to flee. Of the thousands who came ashore, only a handful ever make it back to their ships. The sagas tell us that of the 300 longships that set sail from Norway, barely 24 limp home. Think about that. An entire generation of warriors shattered in a single day. And yet, victory came at a cost. Harold Godwinson's army had marched 200 miles in 4 days, fought one of the bloodiest battles of the age, and was now exhausted, bleeding, and far from home. Just 3 weeks later, Harold would march south again, this time to face William of Normandy at Hastings. The fatigue, the losses, the wounds of Stamford Bridge, all of it weighed on his men. So when you hear of Hastings, of the Norman conquest, remember this: England didn't fall in a single battle. It was broken piece by piece. And Stamford Bridge was the first hammer blow. The lone Viking on the bridge? History forgot his name, but not his defiance. Was he a berserker, lost in battle rage? Was he simply a man desperate to buy time for his friends? Historians disagree. The chronicles give no answer. But the legend remains, stronger than fact. And maybe that's the point. History isn't just about who won or who lost. It's about the echoes left behind. A nameless warrior who made an army pause. A king brought down by a single arrow. A kingdom bled dry before its final stand. So next time you think about bravery, ask yourself, would you have stood your ground on that bridge, axe in hand, against thousands? Or would you have run, praying to vanish into the trees? The Viking didn't run. He stood. And because of that, the world still remembers him.